We are live. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Let us begin today's session. Open up today's session with reciting of the prayer for spiritual workers. Prayer for spiritual workers. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their limitations, would smite me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their weakness, would not heed me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their ignorance, would defile you through me. And I ask, Almighty God, O wondrous power, that your strength may be given to me now, so that I might be fortified by this, so that I might go forward bravely into the world, and despite reception, send forth my love of thee throughout all races of man. Almighty God, give me the power and strength to rise above my karmic weakness, the deficiencies in the pattern of my evolution, so that I might evolve and become stronger. I and even stronger in thy everlasting light. O God, thy will be done. All right, everyone, welcome to another open discussion and various topics session. Today will be a short class, say probably finish around 1:30, so about an hour and change. And the reason being is we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of Mr. Davis teaching metaphysics. Um, he started back when I was 12 years old, but I didn't know him then. But I think I came around maybe 10 or 11 years ago, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But Mr. Davis has been teaching for 30 years. And so today, after class, we will um, have a little get together and celebrate that anniversary. And I will try to uh, put the class up, not the class, I'm sorry, the celebration up and share it and allow everyone access if I'm able to. If not, then we'll just share some pictures with everyone, um, maybe a couple of videos as well of the celebration. But if you are in the Miami area and you would like to participate with the celebration, you can send us an email really quick. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time down at Mr. Davis's office in South Florida, in the Goulds area. You can send me a message or send us a message, misacknowledge, and I will forward the address to your information so you can participate as well. That's all I have for announcements. But per usual, we will have an open discussion and a Q&A session. So if there's any questions you guys have, any comments you have, feel free to post them on the chat on YouTube and we'll do our best to respond to those for you. At the second half of the today's session, I mentioned previously that I want to go over an extract from the You Are Responsible transmission. Let me check something really quick. Yeah, so for those of you members of the Aetherius Society, the latest offering of the members audio series is the Cosmic Transmission from Master Mars Sector 6, known as You Are Responsible, given May 7th, 1957. So you were able to log into or access the member audio series. Um, you all should have received an email with instructions on how to do that if you're members of the society and on the email list. And this is that transmission. The transmission has been up since March 7th, I believe. Yes, March 7th, March 7th. So you've had a good solid 2 weeks to be able to listen to the transmission, at least as many times as you can. And today, at the end of today's session, or near the end of today's session, I was going to introduce or read from the extract that is available on the aetherius.org website. So on the aetherius.org website, under the shop link, under books, you'll find the book of the transmission, You Are Responsible, and with Dr. George King's commentary added to the transmission. As well as on the website, you'll see a description of the book and an extract from the book, from pages 12 to 13 by Dr. George King, and from pages 7 to 73 of the Master Aetherius, and page 146 to 147, Mars Sector 6. So these extracts are what we will use to review and study the transmission, at least publicly. Uh, for those of you who have or do not yet have are not able to listen to the transmission on the cloud, you are invited and encouraged to pick up a copy of the book, even if you are able to have access to the cloud, to pick up a copy of the book as well and study the text. And if you have any additional questions or comments, we'll be glad to answer those for you as well. So near the end, I'll just read through these 3 extracts, and then next week or next session, either the 29th of March, Sunday 29th, or the 5th of April, we'll devote the second half of our session to uh, reviewing and studying this powerful transmission, beginning our study. And again, the Ethereus Cloud is cloud.ethereus.org. There are a few lectures here made available for free. So if anyone, just by accessing the site, you can click on these levels of consciousness and you can play them for free. And if you have any questions or comments on these lectures, you can come back to us and we will answer those questions for you. Or if there's enough interest, we can do a couple of sessions covering these courses that are available for free and make those available for everyone. But if you do subscribe to the cloud, you have an entire library of lectures given by Dr. George King, as well as some transmissions given by the Cosmic Masters through the mediumship of Dr. George King for you available. And any questions or comments you have on those teachings, by all means, uh, present them and we will answer those for you. And then 2 more resources. You have a couple books published by Mr. Nehemiah Davis. His first published work, The Ancient Language of the Soul, available on Amazon. Um, my browser looks so different because I have a plugin that automatically applies a dark theme to it. But when you go to the site, it'll look like this. So you have The Ancient Language of the Soul, is Mr. Davis's first published work, and his second published work is The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer. Both these books are available, both hard copy and digital ebook that you can purchase through Amazon. Also on our YouTube channel, there are complete readings of the 2 books, as well as a study session devoted to them where we posed questions to the author and got further insights from Mr. Davis on the information contained in these texts. And then finally, of course, as always, you have the mysticknowledge.org website with plenty of information and a curated list of authors and their works available for you for free to download, study, and come back with any questions or comments or further commentary requested on these texts if you have them. All right. So plenty of time given for everyone to have pose any questions or any questions or comments to start off today's session. Did you receive any other questions? I didn't see any more come into the Mystic Knowledge email. Any of my
That was just the Muja questions. I think I answered back. You can
yeah.
just check and see.
Yeah,
We didn't go over that last week, right? Did we go over that? Because he wrote after the class.
yeah, he were after the class, but I think we answered most of his questions.
like 21 exchanges, right? I
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a bit of back and forth here.
mean, I mean, if you want to, you can give my answer, so that helps. I don't know.
Okay, let me see where.
And notice it was 21.
I think you have a different version of the Asana Pranayama Mudra Bandha book than I do.
What?
So I think you have a different version of or
I
maybe an
got
earlier
two.
edition of the
I got
Asana
two.
Pranayama Mudra Bandha book.
Yeah, I got two versions of that.
Oh yeah, I have this one. Here. Oh, doesn't show.
It
Oh,
won't
whatever.
show.
Yeah, it won't show. Mm.
I don't think I put that on the web, did I? I don't think I put that online.
No, I don't think so. That book's not on there. Then there is this document, which I did show last time, the trigger points with the yoga data engine configuration with the hand diagram last time. I read that response.
You read
And
one of these response before?
yes, last session I put up I remember putting up the diagram of the trigger points. So you had made a diagram mudra yoga data energy configurations within the hand. And
Mm.
I put that up last time. So that's when I was reading out his responses, that's as far as we got. Then he came back with um
The
has it-
last response you didn't read. The last two responses you
yeah, the
didn't
last two responses I didn't
read.
read, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So very briefly, the exchange as Dave's and I talking about was between another student longtime student of ours who had purchased some books on mudras. And in that book, uh, several mudras were given out, and a mapping of the fingers and how they correspond to their associated chakras, their pranas, and elements. Let me put up that diagram again. It's ready here. So let me just grab it really quick. The delays, guys. Let me put this up really quick. Okay. So in this exchange, I'm going back and forth with the student. He had purchased a book that had listed the fingers and the associated chakras, pranas, and elements. And in a lot of material, in a lot of books that you'll find online, or books you even find in some yoga stores, unfortunately, the listing of the fingers and the configuration of the associated chakras and elements are listed incorrectly. Um,
That one needs
there,
to change. Remember that?
yeah, I couldn't find the one I had worked on before, so I just re-downloaded this one right now. But the other one is
Yeah, that's
somewhere in here.
the pinky is the throat center.
Is this the right one? Pinky, middle finger.
At the
Nope.
top. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the right one. Okay.
yeah.
So I'll have to this. All right. So unfortunately, there's a lot of confusion and misinformation given out information. In the past, this information was only given through initiation, but with the changing of the eras, a lot of information was made public and given to the public. But even though the correct information is out there, there is still a lot of confusion and misinformation um, with the mystic sciences, which is another reason why Mr. Davis went to such great lengths to actually go out and produce, find, collect, and categorize and organize for us a list of teachers and teachings of which we should study, and thereby helping us to develop our discrimination. Discrimination is a skill that both Mr. Davis and Dr. George King talk about, and that is the ability to discriminate between right and wrong information and knowledge. So again, I'd highly recommend that everyone, go to the mysticknowledge.org website, look at the teachers and resources that we recommend and provide for everyone, and study their teachings. And that will avoid you being misled or swayed by improper teachings or improper guidance, and also eventually harming and doing damage to yourself um, if you were to follow those incorrect teachings. So several times in the past, we've looked at this diagram as well as last session, and there were a couple of replies in that exchange between Mr. Davis and the student, and so I'm going to read some of the more recent ones. But again, any questions or comments, do feel free to post them in the chat and on any subject. Doesn't have to be specific to Mudra, what we're currently going over. Could be any metaphysically derived subject, and we'll answer those for you as well. So the response reads, after we sent uh, the corrections, and the student had compared this information that we provided with what he had in the book they had purchased from a yoga studio in India, actually. He expressed his shock and had a couple follow-up questions. Here's reply to those questions. Mudra yoga techniques came from the adepts and masters who achieved this knowledge from contemplative and meditative visions, achieved from the unlocking of the mantras through constant mantra japa practices of the sacred sound vibrations of mantra. This led to a rise of Kundalini in a balanced fashion. The power of mantra is guaranteed. The practice of mantra japa cleanses the nadi pathways while clearing a pathway for Kundalini to rise and partially activate the chakras, eventually opening the chakras through a full rise of the Kundalini power. The sacred creative sounds of vibrations of mantra is an instrument the soul uses to shape and mold mind, energy, and matter to a purified, risen state of operation. This operating consciousness leads us or humanity back to God. Of course, mantra and mudra yoga techniques utilize all of the other major yogas to help raise the Kundalini, such as Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and Tantra Yoga. The holy creative sound vibrations of mantra have a specific effect on the nadi system, the chakra system, the auric structure, and its envelope of nebula-type cosmic energies. Okay, so in those three paragraphs, Mr. Davis is talking about the power and efficacy of a mantra japa or mantra yoga, practicing and reciting mantras. He goes into great detail about the science of um, mantra in his book. I showed you earlier, Ancient Language of the Soul, the Mystic Knowledge of Mantra. It's actually quite a deep science because if just from, well, let me put this up too so it's a little easier for everyone to follow along. All right. Now the text may be hard for you to see. Uh, let me control zoom. Hopefully that's a little better and it's not being cut off. Yes, this is the response I'm reading for everyone. So in Ancient Language of the Soul, Mr. Davis goes deep into the science of mantra and connects the dots on how this practice of reciting mantra cleanses the nadi pathways and prepares a pathway for the partial and eventually full rise of Kundalini, which in turn activates the chakras. So I recommend you going back and studying that text, as well as watching the videos we have on Ancient Language of the Soul, which I read the entire book out for everyone, and Mr. Davis goes into um, more information and breaks down the subject matter of that mantra textbook that he published for all of us. As the master Dr. George King stated, that when mantra chanting is practiced properly, excuse me, sorry, is practiced properly and constantly with the right intonation and right motives, the auric body, mental bodies, etheric bodies, astral bodies, and physical body responds by the demonstration of the auric envelope, spinning and creating this screen of protection while speaking these sacred creative words mantra of God, the Absolute. Mudra yoga is a secret yoga science that was slowly released to the world over hundreds of years, and even then, most of the knowledge was kept inside of the mystic schools and mystic circles with an oath not to speak of this knowledge until the right karmic moment and under the right karmic condition. So this is important, and it is the key to help us in developing our discrimination. In other words, there is great karmic implication behind the releasing and giving of mudras and mantras. Uh, every proper teacher or master will, when they talk about a discussion of mudras and mantras, will give that warning. Will say that when mantras and mudras should not be given out unless it is from a master in which the mantra or mudras live within them. And that comes from many, 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 many years or even lives of mantra and mudra, uh, mantra japa practice. And because this information was kept secret for so long, the information that was given out on mudras and mantras publicly, majority of the time was incorrect, was false teaching. It wasn't until specific karmic conditions were met that through a bona fide master of mudra or mantra yoga, the teachings were given out under the right karmic conditions. So when you are picking up books or reading anything on the internet, or even 10 times worse, asking AI for guidance on some of these things, keep this in mind that much of these teachings require the master disciple or teacher student relationship in order for you to properly receive the information, but also apply the information and practice it and be guided in these practices. Right, let's continue on. Therefore, when it came to information on the subject of getting out to the public, it led to a very creative methods of informing the people, such as the following. The masters taught us that when secret teachings on these mystic subjects, should never be fully placed in the hands of the public without being fully conditioned to receive this knowledge and procedure to develop them to a risen state of consciousness. Right? Meaning that the teachings given by the masters, when given to the public, were never, usually not given in their entirety. Mr. Davis has talked about this in the past. He's even showed us examples. Um, one book, what is the name of that book? Um, Like it'll come to me later, where the practices or even incantations are given, but they're incomplete. To get the complete practice or even uh, the visualizations that go along with it, for example, realizing the contact your higher self, the yoga, little yoga book given to us on with pranayama exercises by Dr. George King. The practice certain aspects are given out to the public, but then certain parts are kept secret, and that secret part that's left out of that is as listed here in the next bullet point, the full mystic procedures of these secret subjects are designed to be given in person. And so you're given enough to get you to condition your body. For example, the contact your highest with the yoga. You're given the pranayama practices to begin conditioning and cleansing the body. But the element that was left out of that book was the visualization key that goes along with those practices, and the visualization aspect uh, was given later in person, either through a lecture, Dr. George King, or in several years later in a subsequent publication, realizing your potential, and or now title now under the title of King Yoga. Most written documents, books to the public on the mystic yogic teachings will be with the pertinent information, but the but incomplete to a degree for the safety of the public. Specific karmic law prohibits certain action in order to stay in line with the karmic laws of the ring past not, described by Madame Blavatsky and Dr. George King. When writing books on these secret teachings, books which are meant to be published and given to the public, unless given specific karmic permission, these books leave certain key procedures out of the techniques. The teacher, adept, or master at the appropriate time of the student's development usually gives the secret and the most advanced part of the procedures in person. That's a very important point. So as keep these points in mind as you're, well, let's just focus on this collection of books and materials curated for us by Mr. Davis and other masters, especially the Aether Society. Teachings made available by the Cosmic Masters through the mediumship of Dr. George King, or the teachings made available given to us by Dr. George King, or the teachings that Dr. George King recommends in several of his books, including Mr. Davis mentioned here, Madame Blavatsky, and others. Keep in mind that even in those books and lectures and transmissions that are given that are meant to be given disseminated to the public, uh, key procedures of those techniques are left out so that at when the student reaches an appropriate level in the development, further instruction will be given to that student in those more advanced aspects of those procedures. And that instruction will be given in person in in however way karma allows that student to receive it. Excuse me a moment. Okay, continuing on. There is a ton of information out there on mudra yoga. It is just scattered in pieces, and it takes a trained, serious mystic student and knowledgeable mystic teachers to recognize these secret teachings. The knowledge of mudra yoga is utilized in almost every major form of yoga. questions so far? No, I don't see any in the chat window. All right, let me just check something really quick to make sure I have this up properly. Okay. All right, nothing in the chat. Continue on. Where was it? Here. Over the next year, I will publish my Mudra Yoga class notes from the past 30 years. In the meantime, uh, please see the attached book written by one of Swami Sivananda's students on Mudra Yoga with the name Asana Pranayama Mudra Bandha. And if you give me 1 second, I will show you where you can pick up a copy of that book. Oh wow, the price actually went up on this book. And if it's
That's, I think it's always been an expensive book, though.
oh yeah, uh,
How much it is now?
now it is well the one that I have, the Golden Jubilee edition is 65, but they have an older version here, fourth revised edition for 17. Not bad, 18 bucks.
No.
But if it's Swami Sivananda has all of his books available online
But
Yeah,
that's
but
not
for free.
Sevananda.
That's a student, yeah, I know. I think some of his students did too, but I don't know if this one is.
yeah, but Duane, why is the price different 4 times as much between those two listed there? Is one of them used? The one at top?
Let me see. I think it's just marketing. No, it's a new. Maybe it's on sale. Yeah, 40% off. 40% off. And this one's from 2008. This one I have Golden Jubilee edition. I don't know what's different about this one, but it has this gold banner at the top, I guess. Yeah. And there's more books here. So you can pick it up on Amazon. There's I think this one is only, oh, it has Kindle edition too. So paperback or Kindle edition. But it's also, Mr. Davis gave a warning. It says, even when you are, he told us that if the earliest edition you can find of a book released by, even by Masters of Swami Sivananda, the better. Because as time went on and multiple revisions were made to these books, sometimes improper revisions were made and information is changed incorrectly. So the earlier the edition, you can find usually the more accurate information. So you still have to have um, your discrimination on and working, even when you are um, going through the text that, especially more modern versions of the text, that Mr. Davis has curated, the list of texts that Mr. Davis has curated and teachings Mr. Davis has curated for us. But a majority of the time, the information um, from those authors, Shivananda, Yogananda, Rama Prasad, and so on and so on and so forth, Dr. George King, Madame Blavatsky, Annie Besant, and so on, Mabel Collins, those uh, and others that Mr. Davis has recommended for us um, are correct teaching. And then his finally his last latest response in this exchange. Wait, I don't know. As I said, much of the information is given to the public in pieces and has unfortunately been misrepresented too many times. So he was fortunate to have a father who introduced this ancient Muja Yoga science to him in stages throughout his childhood into his young adulthood, because he has witnessed him use several forms of Muja Yoga with instant results. Mudras such as mudras to control the weather, mudras for giving healing, and mudras for self-development. So therefore, I was initiated into it and witnessed the power of using the mudra techniques and seeing the instant results. Over time, I was able to see how to connect the dots through constant practice and studying of the following books. I was able to connect the dots. Those books include How to Talk to God by Paramahansa Yogananda. I can get that. That's available on Amazon, or you can go to Yogananda's Society. What's the name of Yogananda Society again?
The self-realization fellowship.
Self-Realization, yeah, Self-Realization Fellowship. Nature's Finding Forces by Rama Prasad, Serpent Power by Arthur Avalon, and we actually have uh, a lecture series. We have a lecture series dedicated to Serpent Power. It's one of our popular lecture series, and we have several lectures dedicated to Nature Finding Forces by Rama Prasad. And I believe Rama Prasad's book, I believe these two books are on our website as well. And then Kundalini Yoga by Swami Sivananda, and I think that's on our website as well. So of the four books recommended here, three are on the mysticknowledge.org website. The one by Yogananda, that's a small book, but potent and quite powerful. All right. That's that. And if you have any questions or comments or would like further instruction on a particular item, you can send us an email and uh, what I'm gonna if the question requires or if you would like further instruction and guidance, I'm gonna sit down with Mr. Davis this week and see if maybe we could do like a quarterly um, or starting in April, which will be the beginning of the second quarter of this year. Um, provided times available where we have set up calls with students to allow them to speak with Mr. Davis directly and get further guidance um, from him. And I'll sit down with Mr. Davis and we'll discuss that and see how we can work that out to make it both feasible for him and as well for feasible for the most number of you. 'Cause I know we have students all over the world, different time zones, and with different levels of access to the internet. So we'll try and see how we can work that out. And I'm still working on and putting together that small practice group. So many of you have submitted an interest, have expressed an interest in being a part of that. I'm waiting till I can get maybe two more people. So we have good sized group. And once that's together, I'll start sending out emails and announcements to everyone. I'll let you know when I will start with that. All right, let's see if there are any further questions, comments. Okay. If not, okay, then with this, the second half of today's session, as I mentioned earlier, I would like to do like a brief introduction into the current installment of the Members Audio series. You are responsible for transmission. That's the wrong window. You are responsible. Published by Dr. George King. Published in 1961, this classic first edition hardback contains the true story of Dr. George King's visits in a projected state to other planets, and also describes in detail Dr. King's first ever contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. So yes, it is possible to visit other planets, especially within this solar system. Yes, those planets are populated with um, living beings. Um, they inhabit higher realms than the realm that we currently inhabit, the gross physical realm, for example. So that's why if we look out telescopes on the planets, they seem vacant or like they cannot support life. That's because they do not exist on, they do not live, do not dwell on the realms that we live on. And earlier, when I was reading the response Mr. Davis penned to one of the students, he mentioned the ring past not that surrounds the Earth. And it is only possible for us to visit other planets in a projective state if we are able to penetrate the ring past not, and that's only in a high projected state, in etheric projection, uh, that you were able to move past the ring past not. Mr. Davis gives a class on that. Uh, well, he gave classes on that when he talked about the ring past not in the study of Madame Blavatsky's teachings. That was uh, early on when I came about, and that class was not recorded. But in the classes since, particularly the ones on the teachings of Dr. George King, he talks about this projection, the ring past not being able to move to other planets in an etheric projection state. In addition, there are numerous profound spiritual teachings and revelations given by beings from other worlds, and the book concludes with a series of predictions of flying saucer sightings, all of which were confirmed in newspapers of the time. About 170 pages, and recommends anyone with an open-minded interest in life on other planets and the spiritual message of cosmic beings. So that's a brief description on the text you are responsible. And with the remaining time, I'm going to read some of these extracts and read these three extracts from the book. And then in subsequent sessions, we'll go through these extracts, uh, line by line and make a proper study of it. But then if you have any questions or comments on the material covered in this text, you're more than uh, welcome to pose them. Again, the second half of our sessions going forward will cover specifically these teachings from Dr. George King, some of the extracts from those teachings that are available to the public, as well as other material as well. So, first extract on pages 12 to 13 of Dr. George King. The thousands of reports of flying saucer sightings, which have poured in from every corner of the earth during the past few years, constitute the most intriguing mystery of the 20th century. To the thoughtful man, these thousands of authenticated reports, when studied with open-minded care, form what must obviously be the blueprint of an enormous task. The enormity of this task, carried out by carried out by hitherto unknown powers, must suggest a necessity which assumes such worldwide implications that we dare not do anything except throw all our efforts towards a better understanding of this vitally important problem. The future of life on Earth, as we know and enjoy it, depends upon that understanding. How many of us are often prompted by our innermost soul to go forth and explore? How few are willing to undertake the self-sacrifice which this entails? The great teachers of all religions, in all ages, can you guys see? In all ages, where did I stop? The great teachers in all ages have had to suffer in their unselfish bid to bring true light into the dark ignorance of mankind. These glorious few have heeded the inner voice and have gone forward bravely to build signposts to show the way. Within this book is a message, an essential message, one which is far too important to be kept a secret or revealed only to a chosen few, but must be offered to all. For a way is pointed out for us here, a way we can all tread irrespective of our religion, class, or creed. It should be made known that this way is suggested as the only safe one in our age of atomic chaos by beings whose vast intelligence and experience put them thousands of years ahead of the ordinary man. These are the kind of people who are now sending thousands of spacecraft through hundreds of millions of miles of interplanetary space in order to turn the tide of humanity away from the great cataclysm it is so surely making for itself. Let us now be wise before this event, for to be wise after it is to be too late. Extract from Dr. George King. All right, next, let's look at an extract from the Master Theories. This corresponds to pages 72, 73. This is now the Master Theories, Cosmic Master to Venus, speaking through His Eminence Sir George King. If you will only let us, we can help you in your meteorological difficulties, thereby cutting down the death rate caused by aircraft crashing when they fly through certain clouds which contain currents of air, sometimes traveling at over 100 miles per hour. We can help you by teaching you how you can irrigate and cultivate your deserts so that they can again become as fertile as they were when the Great Pyramids were built. We can teach you how to grow such crops as to make famine appear like one of the atrocities of the Dark Ages. In fact, if you will let uh, us referring to cosmic beings, we can advise you how to make things so different that within 50 years, the earlier half of the century, will seem like part of the Dark Ages. We cannot trespass upon those grounds which are closed to us. The choice is yours. You can receive us with open arms, and we will help you to the best of our ability, or you can reject us. We trust that certain of your political factors will not be overcome by their own pseudo importance, and so reject the hand of friendship that is now being offered. We can help you in your primitive educational system so that every one of your pupils is given that experience demanded by his karma. We can help you in your hospitals so that your system of medicine will be able to say that cancer, tuberculosis, and venereal diseases are things of the past. If you want us to help you, stretch out your hands to us. We can help you in your geological surveys so that earthquakes, such as the recent ones in the small islands of Greece, could never happen again. This is worth taking into consideration because we have discovered vast movements of land masses at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, which will bring about dangerous conditions in the near future. We can give you an agricultural system 25,000 times better than your present one if you take down your notice, thou shalt not trespass. Now, I hope that I have given you some little idea of why we are surveying your planet. To us, you are a people in desperate need of advice. We are willing to give you this advice if you will let us, if you want it, and if you will use it in the right way. Okay. And the final extract from the text you're responsible that we will study in the upcoming sessions by Mars Sector 6 from pages 146 and 147. Terrestrial man faces many problems in the interim period. He faces the possibility of war brought about by the scheming few who have successfully trapped the unthinking majority by their insidious conditioning campaign. He faces disease, which is now prevalent upon the planet. He faces the direct result of another's greed, another's lust for power, another's wrongful control. He faces the direct results of those thermonuclear weapons he has already exploded. He faces the prospect of freak weather conditions caused mainly by the gross disruption of finely balanced terrestrial magnetic conditions. He faces mutation in future generations brought about by cellular disease caused by the mutated acceleration of cellular division. These things do men face this night. These things can all be put right by man if he decides, this night, to throw his God-given energies into the channels of construction, away from the channels of destruction. Service and cooperation are the keynotes which will enable mankind to put right these conditions. Indeed, mankind upon Terra has the greatest opportunities ever offered to any other life stream in the whole solar system at any time since its inception. For man upon Terra has fallen so low that the climb back could be far more glorious than any yet accomplished since the inception of this solar system. If mankind uses his skill correctly, he could cure all disease upon Terra by a close study of that science you call yoga. By a close study of that science you called chromotherapy. By adherence to that science you call homeopathy. These things would cure disease. Mankind could, if he used his skill correctly, bring about total terrestrial disarmament and employ the present wasted energies in constructive channels so that fertilization of his rich earth would dispel starvation from the surface of Terra forever. If mankind chose to use the practice of the presence given by the master Aetherius, he could, if used if he used sufficient energy, then help to ward off the harmful effects brought about by killer dust such as strontium-90, strontium-89, and radioactive iodine. If mankind used his skill in constructive ways, he could gradually dispel ignorance by a close study and complete revision of present educational systems and standards. If mankind used his skills correctly, he could, with the sword of truth, slay the dragons, hate, greed, and lust. All right, so those are three of the extract. Those are the three extracts from the text You're Responsible that we will spend the next few sessions studying. Again, you are invited to pick up a copy of this book from aetherius.org. And here you can see how to spell Aetherius, AETHERIUS.org. And under shop books, you'll see the listing of this text You're Responsible. If you're members of the society, under the latest installment of the members audio series is the transmission You Are Responsible, and you are invited to listen to that transmission and come back with any questions or comments you have. Either send us to us via email over the next or do participation in the next few open discussion sessions.
When looking at that, Dwayne, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
When looking at that, doesn't it make sense to study the Tau rays and the flow of energy and
oh yeah, I hear
and
that. I hear that all throughout these transmissions.
yeah, and the solar plexus, I mean the auric body and how the exchange of energy and the impurity traits that was all listed by the yogas, by the great yogis. They say the energy is pure. The energy of the uh, of the various chakras from all the chakras are pure, except for there's a buildup of impurity traits in the lower chakras that cloud the energy going out. The energy coming in is pure, but once it get trapped inside the auric envelope, it push out negative energy because it have to go through a cloud of negative energy on a basic level. It comes in on a very high level from the sun, from the earth, from the moon, but then when it goes back out into the physical and astral levels, it is tainted.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the only way it's not tainted is by using the science of yoga, you know, and to clear those naughty pathways up, to purify the aura, to allow pure energy to lead your auric fields, your physical auric and astral auric fields, and that makes up the uh, the atmosphere around you, because it is the tavic rays and the tavic matter that builds our atmosphere and builds our own our reality. You know,
Hmm.
so it only makes sense to study that, and that's what made me study it, from reading this and the Nine Freedoms and most of the cosmic voices.
Right. 'Cause it's all there. It's all here.
I was shocked that most um, that their site members did not even understand that science.
Hmm. Hopefully, we'll be able to help change that.
Yeah, so when we study that, I can lecture on those things, and because I think I did a lot of lecturing on it before, but I think most of you all were like deer in the headlights when I was talking.
Yeah. Because even now, I remember I read this book years ago,
Hmm.
and then now, just reading through those extracts, it, like so many dots are being connected. I just feel like so much information is pouring out from that because I can to small degree connect those points and say, okay, yeah, this is
Yeah,
here. This is what it's talking about. This is what's talking about. This is what's here. This is what's mentioning. This is what's referred to. And just in those three extracts.
yeah, and he at the end, Mars Sector 6 states several of the impurity traits.
Hmm.
And that's what stop our environment from becoming a magnetic environment. You know,
Hmm.
that's all the gray mist that we see psychically. Once you begin to see psychically, that's one of the first things you see. All this gray mist.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's like a foggy day, especially in certain areas of the country. And that's what it is. It's the negative. It's that negative energy that's polluting our aura, is polluting the atmosphere. You
And you
know,
can,
we for so long we allow the powers that be to tell us all this stuff is it doesn't make sense, it's not real, all that. But then they'll take the same formulas and go
hmm.
build a space station,
Hmm. Hmm.
or
Hmm. Right.
television, or or radio. They'll take the same formulas. It's insane.
And like take the what they're calling AI right now, which is just large language models and probability. They we taught that sound is consciousness and that we express our consciousness through words, through speech. Uh,
Hmm.
and when you these large language models take words, language, expressed sound, and add probability on top of it, and is able to replicate a type of intelligence that we can interact with and do all these things that we use to help us with. That's an application right there of the mystic sciences, the metaphysical
Hmm.
sciences.
Hmm.
It is a an aspect of human consciousness being expressed through the statistical application of sound, of words.
Right.
And we're able to interact with it. And we're, thinking it's this amazing, great. And the thing is like, no, it's a science that's been given to us for millions of years.
Yeah, yeah, the yogis, and almost every religion said that that the absolute or God spoke the word, and the word, and and that word was a creative word, and that creative word brought about manifestation as we know it today.
Hmm.
So anytime we get ready to go and create something, what do? We use various aspects of sound. You know, one of the number one aspects of sound is mind,
Hmm.
is divine will. Divine will imposes those conditions upon mind as directed motion, in a time frame of length, breadth, and height. That's tracking sound, because sound is divine will, sound is mind, and then the vibration of sound is motion, directed motion, that was started from the first action of divine will. And the yogis also tell us that sound is lettered sound. Sound is numbers and letters. So when they code something, that's using sound. But they'll tell you that your mantras is nothing. But yet, when you analyze the mantra, and if you ever look at someone who's chanting mantra psychically, you'll see that they're coding their aura. Now,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm sure you heard me say that many a times.
Yes, yes. Hmm.
Yeah, you're coding your aura, because that's the first thing you'll start seeing. All these things start happening, and it moves from one chakra to the next. The aura begins to spin, and then the chakras seem to come alive, and 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 you'll begin to see all these different what I want to say is it's almost like letters or foreign letters, but it's also pictures and visualizations and colors of things as it spin.
Hmm.
And you'll notice that the negative energy fall to the lower chakras, and the upper chakras takes on, like Dr. King said, this screen. It's almost like a crystal type screen, and once
Hmm.
in a while it'll show a particular color.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
that's coding the aura. That's what it's doing. It's coding the aura. But yet scientists tell you, oh, that's craziness. Don't mess with that. But then they go and take the same science and use it to create all the devices that we have around us.
Hmm. Hmm.
But people fall for that. The whole world fall for it. And then that's when I understood when the master theorist said a mouse is only a mouse because they believe that it's a mouse.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. So if there are no further questions, let's go ahead and close out today's session. Remember, today is going to be a short session because we're going to have our celebration for 30 years of instruction by Mr. Davis in the metaphysical sciences. Let me just do a quick check of email and the chat. Is there any questions? No. All right, so let us close out today's session. As well as part of our, I want this on the whole screen. It's not cooperating. Let's close out today's session with reciting the prayer of blessing to Mr. Nehemiah Davis in thankfulness for his 30 years of teaching and service to us. And this is the most recent version of the prayer from Mr. Davis. What I'll do, I think there's a couple more edits I want to make to it, and then I'll put it up in a special shared folder in our on the folder that we make available for all of you. And those of you who would like access to it, you can send me an email and I'll send you the link where you can download it. Blessed is our beloved spiritual teacher, mentor, guru, and friend, Sir Nehemiah Davis. O divine and wondrous spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, we come before you now in all humility to uplift our beloved spiritual guru, Sir Nehemiah Davis, at this time. O everlasting spirit, great is the love and sacrifice of this one who tirelessly gives of himself, so that we may be delivered from the darkness of our ignorance into the all-embracing light of God. O wondrous Brahma, send forth your mighty healing power to Sir Nehemiah, so that he may be lifted up, so that he may be made strong, so that he may continue to radiate thy love and light unto all the world. Thrice blessed is this wise one, who was found and left and given of his very heart to man, so that he may see, and seeing know, and knowing act, and acting become that what he should be. O divine creator of all this wonder, shed thy mighty beams upon us now, so that we might be better equipped to devote ourselves in lasting service to all. O wondrous Brahma, blessed is our beloved spiritual guru, Sir Nehemiah Davis, for all that he has done and continues to do for mankind throughout his lifetime. And Almighty Power Brahma, blessed is this great champion of light for that which he is now. O God, thy divine will be done. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attendance. And if you have any further questions or comments or suggestions, feel free to send us an email. I'll be glad to address those for you. Do take use and take advantage of the resources we make available for you, especially at the mysticknowledge.org website and on our YouTube channel. There's plenty more studying resources will be made available in the coming future. If you'd like to help out and volunteer or donate your time, efforts, or resources to us, send us an email, let us know. We'll gladly accept your donations and assistance. Members of society or future members of society take the opportunity to review the latest members audio series selection that you are responsible. And over the next couple of weeks, for as long as that selection is left up available, we will go into a study of the transmission, and particularly the extracts made available on the atheist.org shop website. And if you do have any questions from the transmission itself or from the book itself, you'll be more than welcome to pose those questions, and we'll answer those for you. Address those for you as we do a study of the material. And then in the future, as subsequent members audio series offers are released, and if there is a corresponding um, um, publicly available extracts on the website, we'll go ahead and review those as well. All right. Is there anything else in mind? I think that's it.
I just in the since it's our 30th year, probably later on, we want to do, we invite people from all around to
Right. You did
join us.
mention
So we do a special, maybe a special workshop, and to give out more information and to try to begin to work towards the future and keep an organization alive.
that. Okay. Right. And so do keep a lookout for that. I think we're planning to have a couple of like sessions maybe in the summer and the end of the year. We have opportunities for those who would like to come and join us in person. I'll open up for you. Stay tuned for those announcements. Nothing else. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Dwayne, don't hang up.
Okay.
How many people are expected to
Hold on.
come today?
Let me stop the rest. Hold on. Let me stop the broadcast.